One thing that we know for sure is that Sergei Bobrovsky will have a new position coach when he comes back to Columbus in September. Ian Clark has opted not to re-sign with the Columbus Blue Jackets. He's out in Vancouver, and that means that Manny Legace takes over as the goaltending coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Manny has been working with young prospects with the Blue Jackets organization for a number of years at the development camp, and also working with some of the younger goaltenders in Cleveland with the Monsters. And Manny Legace joins us on the radio right now. Manny, how are you this afternoon?
Good. How you guys doing?
We're great. We're great. It's great to talk a little hockey with you in July.
Yes.
Congratulations on the appointment.
Thank you.
What are you excited about moving up and working with Bob and Jonas Korpisalo and the guys at the NHL level?
Well, I got a chance to work with Corpy, in Cleveland and in Springfield for probably 2.5, 3 years. So, very excited to get back working with him. And I've known Bob I've been with the organization now for 6 years, and 5 of them as a coach. So really got to know him, and got to be on the ice with him and talk to him, and share a little bit. Not as much as I will be coming up here soon, but he's a great guy to work with. He's a really good individual, and I've known Corpy for years. So it's going to be a lot of fun to work with these guys.
Manny, you spent 18 years in the NHL. Your name's on the Stanley Cup. How much of your own experience do you use in trying to guide these young goaltenders? Bob's not a young goaltender anymore. He's got a couple of Vezinas under his belt. Mm-hmm. But in trying to guide these goaltenders and to find the very best part of their game?
Well, that's what I rely on, just from experience. And, I wasn't a big guy, obviously, a 5'9". So I had to figure out how to stay athletic, and the game now is turned to that. It's turned to an athletic goaltender, and I had to rely on everything, and that's how I coach, is just off of experience and what's going on. And I retired in 2012, so it's not like I have retired that long ago. So I still got a chance to play this new era of game, and no holding up, and a lot more chances, and a lot more grade A scoring chances, and just little situations are different, and the game's faster, so still not too far out of it, and that's what I rely on mostly.
Talking with Manny Legace, new goaltending coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Manny, there are those, and John Tortorella is one of them, who say that the goaltending position has changed so much, especially with the size of goaltenders in the net right now. You're seeing these Braden Holtbys and your Ben Bishops and these guys who are really taking up most of the net. How has that changed the position?
Well, they've become athletes. It wasn't just guys back in early 90s, late 90s that were, not a very good skater, let's just play net.
Yeah.
These guys are now all 6'5", who used to be defensemen and forwards, used to crash and bang and can skate and fight or whatever it was they need to do. Now they've become goaltenders, and these are one of the best athletes on the team now. It's changed a lot where your best athletes were your defensemen and your forwards. Now they're goalies. They're athletic, they're flexible. When you watch them play multiple sports, they're really good at it. The position has just changed all around, which it had to. Back in 90s, you could hold up and, you could shut a game down within, you get up a couple goals, you can shut a game down. So a third period going in 2-0, game's over. You just lock up everybody, hold up, grind out in the corner and just hold and pin and keep everybody away from the net. Now you can't. You can be up 4 going in the third period, and you're going to be giving up 4 grade A scoring chances. And if you're not sharp through this whole game, you could be tied up in a blink of an eye. So the game for goaltending has changed, and the way of 70 games and doing it multiple years in a row is gone, just because there used to only be 5 or 6 grade A scoring chances. Now every game there's 15 to 20 grade A scoring chances. So you have to be mentally ready the whole game. So it's mentally draining. So you're playing 2 games compared to the guy who played 1 game back in the early 90s.
Right. And you're playing that full 60 as well. There's no coming over. There's no 45-second shift and then come over and get a drink of water. That's exactly. A big part of it too. Well, Manny, you talk about the mental part of the game, and we've seen Bob's preparation in that area. How important is what you do now in terms of getting both Bob and Corpy ready from a mental standpoint, or do you just work on the physical parts of the game for those guys?
No, it's everything. It's every aspect of the game. I know what it is to be a backup. I was a backup with some of the best goalies in the world, with Dominic Hasek and Cujo and Chris Osgood. And, I know what it was to be a starter. Started for 4 years in St. Louis and a little bit in Carolina. So, I've seen both aspects, and I've been in the minors, played in the minors for a long time. And, so I know the mindset, anything these guys have gone through, I've been through. So I know what they're thinking. I know what they're going through on a day-to-day basis. So, that's, I think, where I bring a lot more to the table, just by going through it. And then the other stuff is all done through video and coaching and, just relying on different situations, because every goalie's different. You can't play just one system. Corpy's actually going to be different than Bob, and Elvis is going to be different than Bob and Corpy, and Tarasov's going to be different than those three guys. So it's just looking at the guy's system and how they approach the game and how you approach coaching them.
And Bob's work ethic is obviously unmatched. I mean,
ridiculous.
Have you ever been around a player, whether he's a goaltender or not, who puts in the type of hours, the time before, after games, even on game days? He'll be out there on a game day skate working on little details. Have you ever been around a guy like that?
Rob Brindamore was just insane. He was just a specimen, and I was just like, he's nonstop, like literally nonstop, and he's probably the only person. Stevie was like that. Stevie Yzerman, Draper was like that. I've been around a few guys who are like that, but I've never been around a goalie who's been like that. It's just, his preparation and his work ethic is off the charts. It's so impressive to watch. It's almost, you have to tell him to go home and relax.
Right.
Get away from the rink and get away from the game for a little bit. But it's very impressive, and he's a pro to every sense of the word. It's very impressive to watch.
Talking with Manny Legace, goaltending coach for the Columbus Blue Jackets, and himself an 18-year NHL veteran. Manny, we're sitting here in July, and I'm sure that you'll get together with Torts and the coaching staff and look at that 82-game schedule. There's always conversation over how much do you use Bob, how much does Corpy get an opportunity, how do you try to balance that out and make sure that you're eliminating or at least lowering the chance of injury and fatigue and that type of thing. Without going into specifics game by game, how do you look at that? How do you strategize and put together a schedule like that for goaltenders?
Well, just hearing what Torts is like, and it's going to be basically his decision. So, I'm just going to be giving my 2 cents, and then I'm going to do what he tells me to do. So, that's pretty much going to be it. And, I'm just going to give my 2 cents and try and waiver him if I think Bob needs rest or Corpy needs more games. And, but when it comes down to it, he's the head guy, and he's going to let me know what I need to do and what I don't need to do. So, it'll be a conversation between the coaching staff and everything. But when it comes down to it, it'll be the big man's call.
And that's why he gets paid the big bucks, as they say. All right. Well, Manny, we appreciate chatting with you a little bit this afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your summer. Training camp will be here before you know it. I appreciate the time.
It'll be in a blink of an eye. You guys have a great summer.